Neural networks is one of the most important topic of data science. In this video, we will try to understand in a very simple way what is neural network and how it works. So basically this neural network technology is exactly similar to our brain. In fact, this technology of neural networks is developed considering how our brain works only. Like for example, a lot of similarities there. Like in neural networks and the brain, both have neurons that process and transmit the information. Similarly, in our brain, we have synapses. What is this synapses? It connects the neurons which allow it to communicate. Same way, neurons is also present in the neural networks which are connected by the weight, or we can also call it age. Similarly, in our brain, we have a lot of layers of neurons. Similarly, in the neural networks, we have similar layers like input layer, hidden layer, output layer. तो ब्रेन में भी बहुत सारे लेयर्स होते हैं न्यूरॉन्स का, और न्यूरल नेटवर्क्स में भी बहुत सारे लेयर्स होते हैं, जैसे इनपुट लेयर होता है, हिडन लेयर होता है, आउटपुट लेयर होता है. वैसे ही ब्रेन कैसे रिकॉग्नाइज करता है पैटर्न विथ एक्सपीरियंसेस ओनली, राइट. आप ब्रेन को बहुत सारा एक्सपीरियंस दोगे, देन इट स्टार्ट रिकॉग्नाइजिंग द पैटर्न. सेम वे न्यूरल नेटवर्क्स रिकॉग्नाइज द पैटर्न विथ लॉट ऑफ इनपुट डेटा. जैसे वी गिव देम इनपुट इमेजेस, then we give a lot of text to our neural networks, then we start recognizing a lot of patterns in the data. Here we are using a lot of terms here, right? Like neuron, layers, input layer, hidden layer, output layer. What is all these terms? Well, in a neural networks, we have three layers, three separate layers, like input layer, then we have hidden layer and the output layer. So this input layer, which takes the input data, like all the different data sets we give as an input to our neural network. For example, let's say if we want to identify an image as a cat or a dog, so we need to send multiple animal images as an input to our model, and we give that input to the input layer only. So this is the first layer, which is the input layer. Then we have the middle layer, which is hidden layer. So hidden layer where we do all the processing and computations. And then we have the output layer, which actually predict the output. In fact, in our Logicmojo data science course, we are going to cover in depth about the neural network with the practical implementation of it and how you can use it in various deep learning projects. Now, let's take a short example to understand the neural network process. Suppose we want to build a neural network that can take an image, and based on that, it decides whether it's a picture of cat or a dog. So first is input layer, right? So we have first is the input layer, and this layer takes in the raw data, which in our case is the image. Now let's say you have a cat, you have an image of a cat with 10 cross 10 pixel. That means each image has 100 pixel. Now assume the input layer will have 100 neurons. What it means? It means each neuron will represent the 1 pixel of the image, and it can take any value from 0 to 255. So your input is 10 cross 10 pixel, and then you have 100 of neurons in the input layer, and each neuron can take any value of the pixel. Like for example, first neuron will take 34, second neuron will have a 87, similarly third neuron will have 255. So multiple neurons in the input layer have a different pixel values. It's 100 pixel values for the input layer for all the 100 neurons. So let's say the neuron 1 receives the pixel value, let's say 34 or any value from 0 to 255, and that represents the top left corner part of the image, or you can call it the pixel. Okay. Similarly, the neuron 2 receives 1 pixel value, let's say 87. And that represents the top center part of the image. So basically we are dividing the image into the multiple pixel values and transferring that to the input layer neurons. So on till neuron 100, we try to give the different pixel values of some part of the image. Okay. So this is the structure of input layer where we give our data set as an input. Now we have a hidden layer, or you can also call it processing layer. Remember, we can have many hidden layers with full of neurons in each of them. It actually depends on the feature, how the feature is been complex and how we are doing the processing of that particular complex feature. If we are doing some normal kind of a task, let's say detecting a text, whether it's a positive or negative, or recognizing the animal as a cat or a dog, then few hidden layers is more than enough to do the processing. So the question is how hidden layer neurons is connected with the previous layer, which is the input layer, which we already discussed. So those one hidden layer neuron connected with the many input layer neurons, and it actually going to compute some kind of feature. Like for example, in this case, let's say we want to identify a particular image as a cat or a dog. So input layer, we try to divide that particular image into the pixel and send to the neurons of the input layer. Now the hidden layer is going to identify some feature. Like one particular hidden layer neurons will going to give you the data like this is the eye of the cat or it's the eye of the dog. Then second neuron will go into the feature like it's a leg of the cat or it's a leg of the dog. Similarly, we have a different neurons that is present in the hidden layer. It's going to identify some kind of feature. Like in this case, let's say the neuron 1 of the hidden layer is connected with 1 to 25 neurons of the input layer, which computes the leg of the animal, whether it's a cat leg or not. Similarly, the neuron 2 connected with the 26 to 50 neurons of the input layer, and it's compute the eyes of the animal, and so on. So like that, our hidden layer neurons are connected with a lot of input layer neurons. And this features identification has been done in the, or you can call it the processing has been done in the hidden layer. And then the next layer is output layer. So the output layer is actually going to predict the result. So neuron 1 of the output layer is connected with a lot of neurons in the previous hidden layer. And it actually compute the final prediction, or you can call it the final probability, whether the particular image is cat or a dog. So it depends on whatever the input we have given it. So this is how the complete processing of the neural networks. So basically we have one example we have taken where we have the image, and then we have a series of layers are there, and each layers have their own responsibility, and every layers have a lot of neurons are there which actually recognizing the particular object or particular image as a cat or a dog.